Hi there, it's Dawn here at Stickle Tarn, and I'm gonna show you how to do some basic planting up of herbs. Herbs, you say? Why herbs? Herbs aren't gonna fill tummies when the cupboards are empty. No, they're not. But if you've got pasta, rice, potatoes, meat, beans, any of the basics, adding some herbs makes it all that little bit more palatable rather than just eating plain boring food. And lots of the herbs have lots of medicinal benefits as well, so it's always worth having some herbs. You can grow them, you can cut them and add them fresh, you can dry them, put them by so you've got them to add to soups and stews and casseroles or bread or whatever you're making when they're not in season and they die back. So let's get started. Right, now your herbs you can grow in any containers. I've got a couple of these old plastic troughs and I'm going to plant up some herbs in these, and they can sit on the outside the kitchen, so they're handy to get hold of. Although my kitchen's a bit of a building yard at the moment, so they might go on a windowsill somewhere outside. Now I've been down and I've bought some established herbs. Why? Right, all of these ones like rosemary, thyme, sage, marjoram, and I've dug up from my herb bed a clump of chives and a clump of oregano. So why am I not going with seeds? All of these take time to grow, and to get them to a size where you're ready to start using them, you'd need to have started them. I would say these are probably coming up to a year old, because they're shrubby. These ones are all shrubby, apart from the chives. The chives aren't shrubby. So if you haven't already got herbs growing, or you know somebody with some herbs that you could buy established plants from, I would suggest pop down to your local garden centre and pick up some established pots, and just go for the young ones. These were 5 for £10, so you know, there are places you can get them a bit cheaper, and you can buy them as plugs, you know, slightly smaller plants. So I've filled my trough with some compost, and I use a peat-free compost. So I'm going to make sure I've got anything that spreads, like oregano. I'm just going to pop here at the front so it can clamber. It will climb over the side here. And the same with the marjoram. I'm going to keep the labels with them so that they can be identified. And when you get them out of the pot, the roots will be quite compacted like that, so just give them tease them out a little bit. They don't need a lot. Make a hole, pop them in. Now if you're going to use quite a deep container like this, it helped to put some gravel or something in the bottom so you've got good drainage, because herbs don't want to be sitting in water. Right, thyme. Again, just going to tease the roots out a bit. In fact, I'm going to put thyme in the middle here, or further over that way, because it's a low growing plant. Let's pop his label in. So, and sage. Sage is quite a woody plant. As you can see, it's, you know, quite a little shrub. And these can go, all of these can go outside. I'm going to stick him over there. The same with the rosemary. Rosemary is quite a shrubby plant, and as you can see, look, there's a lot of roots there in the bottom of that one. So let's just tease them roots out a bit. So that can go in that. And the chives, I'm going to pop them on here. So all of these are hardy and they'll survive quite well outside all year. So, and once you've got them in, the next thing you need to do is give them a good watering. And I'm probably going to top dress mine with some gravel to stop the birds going in and pulling out all the soil and that. And it also stops the rain splashing it all over the place. So that's my plan for that. If you haven't got any gravel, don't worry. A good thing you can put on it is cat litter, unscented cat litter, and you can top dress with that as well. So that is my hardy herbs, a selection of them. There's lots of different herbs out there, but these are the basics. Let's move that out of the way. Now, the next ones I'm going to be doing are tender herbs. Now, tender herbs cannot go outside at the moment. We're coming up to the end of March here. So I've got this old basket. And I've stuck a bit of a liner in the bottom, and I'm going to add some compost. Now any old container can do. The liner I've used is actually a biodegradable one. It's the bags the council give us for food waste. Well, we don't have food waste, but and the bags are compostable. So, right. Again, it's a peat-free compost. A bit of bang. Now the herbs I'm putting in here, this one is going to be basil. And I've got two different sorts of basil. I've got a red basil and a green basil. Now basil you want to sow quite thick. And always open your seed packets at the bottom, because they don't always come in little foil sachets, and if you open it at the top you lose all your instructions and guidance. So I'm doing half the basket in the red basil. Now that's the green basil, sweet green. In fact, this one hasn't got a seed packet inside, so. And then I'm doing half in the red, and I have a label, so I'll put that in. Now I'm covering that in vermiculite. Where's my vermiculite? Grit actually that you use for your chickens is another good thing to cover pots with, you know, if you don't want to buy horticultural grit. But I'm using vermiculite. It allows the light through to the seeds, and vermiculite helps to keep the moisture on top as well. Now these need to stay inside. If you look on the back of your seed packet, you can see that? Right, back of the seed packet. It shows us when is best to sow it, and this one is February through to June, and harvesting is July through to November. So we're sowing March, so I'm expecting to be harvesting this end of July. So that will be a nice big mixture of basil to be able to add to pasta dishes and whatever else. Once you've got them sowed, again, you want to water them with a fine rose if possible, and keep them protected from the frost at least until May, because they are tender plants and the frost will knock them back. Right, so that is the basil. Now the next thing I'm going to do is some coriander. Again, coriander, where's that coriander? There it is. Coriander is a tender plant. So now you could, when you go to the supermarket and you see the pots of herbs there, you could buy them and just grow them. So again, I'm going to firm that down. I want that fairly firm for the coriander. So, and these are just plant pots that have been lying around. You can use yogurt pots, those containers that mushrooms come in, they're quite good for growing in. And these pots I'm going to sit in these buckets, and they've got a handle, and I'll just have them hanging up somewhere to crop. Right. Yeah, so the pots of growing herbs you see in the supermarkets, they've all been forced on with heat, so just keep that in mind. And you see the coriander seeds are quite big, basil seeds are really tiny. So I'm putting lots of seeds into each pot. And pots you can pick up if you've got a local garden centre. A lot of local garden centres, they'll have a recycling bin for pots, and nurseries and that. And it's pots they've used. Again, the mixture light I'm putting on top. And they just have them there for people to help themselves. Okay. That's then done. Right, that's the coriander done. We'll just go into the bucket, so I will get them all watered. And right, so that is my tender herbs, coriander and basil. And like I say, the other ones are fairly hardy, so once they're watered and I've top dressed them, they can go and sit on the windowsill or near the kitchen somewhere, ready to be used. And that's all there is to some herbs, which will add a vast amount of flavouring to your meals, and well worth growing. So take care. I'd like to know how you get on with your herbs and what herbs you grow. And yeah, I'll catch up with you on the next video, which will be showing you how you can grow in small spaces.